Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome back to Euro Truck Simulator in the real economy style. So we're here, I'm trying to take something here from Endesa because that's kind of where we're at. We're a little outside Grenada and that'll be the easiest. There is a job that goes all the way up to Valencia, but just trying to make sure I discover new areas and so forth. So we're going to take this slightly shorter job over here, taking this transporter to Murcia.
Ready to roll.
Well, maybe not. Maybe. We'll take a look. Alright, so it looks like the closest resting place is here. So I'm going to go do that, and then we're going to re-look at what jobs are available to us. Somehow I had turned off certain things on the map. I don't understand. Alright, so there is the transformer, but it will likely be gone because I think everything was like 9 or 11 hours. So,
Go straight on.
but we'll head out, we'll go around maybe the other portion of the road just to get that in our book of discoveries. But this is about 50 kilometers to that location. So, not short, and we are sleepy, so I don't know how... I don't know how fast I can go without like causing damage to the truck on these kind of roads. So I'm going to be a little careful. I mean, we're not going super slow. We're going about 40 kilometers an hour, but basically we have to go from one exit to the next on the highway. So while we're driving, since we've been together last, they have announced they are working on Iceland as an official expansion. So we now have Nordic Horizons and Iceland. So since Greece was delivered, that was always kind of the question of, you know, what's next? And obviously they've got a few images. Don't know, you would think that wouldn't take that long, but, you know, because Iceland isn't that big, I don't think. You know, the problem is when you have an island kind of out in the middle of wherever, and then again as you start getting toward the north and south edges of the maps we have, obviously things kind of get stretched a little bit. Because when you're looking at, in essence, what turns out to be a rectangular map, obviously the points of the globe at the bottom are smaller and they stretch out. So they look bigger, but they're not necessarily that same size as they're being portrayed. Okay. Yes, grenade.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
Okay.
Exit now.
That's not what I thought.
At the roundabout,
I'm clearly...
take the second exit.
Clearly, I would have gone the wrong way. But it makes sense. I mean, I know Grenada is the other way from where I was intending to go. But yeah, we need to rest, and picking up the load and then resting would, I think, pretty much guarantee we'd be late. So I'd rather not do that. Now the problem is we're going to rest, and basically we're going to be doing things at night. But as I've said countless times in this series, with a real economy series, that's what we do. So if you don't like that, don't do real economy, and you know, probably don't follow something that's real economy, although obviously I'd love people to follow along,
right,
but
and then exit right.
I don't want to set the wrong expectation that I can't meet. So in
Exit
the American
right.
Truck Simulator series, I do try to, rest and drive more during the daytime because it's just
At the
easier to
roundabout,
see
take
that
the
way.
third exit.
Alright, so here we are.
Exit now.
Now I would think we're just
At the roundabout,
gonna be in pretty
take
good
the
shape.
first exit.
I can't imagine we'll fall asleep now
Exit
and
now. Go straight on and then turn right.
we know
Turn
what you
right.
mean. Oh, okay. So we can just sleep anywhere here. Okay. I mean, that works. Okay, I thought I had switched the engine off. Why is it restarting? I don't understand. This is not going to help. It's literally automatically restarting. Alright, so I'm going to have to hit it fast enough. There we go. I have to hit the button. It automatically is restarting. Well, now it's not. That was weird. Okay. So now let me look for jobs. But again, is this downhill? I don't get it. Let me look. Why is it rolling forward when I take my foot off the brake? I've never had that problem. This is really weird. Alright. So we're going to go to jobs now. And again, I'm still going to look at Endesa. Alright, that's really short. So is that. I mean, we have more jobs. I guess that's good. See, the problem is, we have to go all the way back to Grenada then. That would be Madrid. I really don't want to do that. Well, great. We've basically lost anything going in the direction that we really would prefer to go. Alright, so I think I'm going to take this cable reel. It's going to be relatively short, and then we'll see after that what the options are.
Drive safe.
Alright, so we'll turn around. I think I can make the turn. Although, okay, no, that's indented. I know there's cars parked back here, so I was a little worried that maybe I could not.
Finding a new route. Go straight on.
And then my guess is it's going to be a little longer. Hopefully we'll find a longer job,
At the
so
roundabout, take the
maybe
first
between
exit.
both of these things we'll just,
Exit now.
we'll just call it a short one again, but it's the reality of the jobs that are available to us, so. Alright. So yeah, getting over to Greece is going to take a while. Yeah, and I'm not, on a mission to get there. I'm not sure. Again, the issue on this side with Europe is ProMods does an excellent job of just providing a lot of visuals and so forth, so that's one of the reasons it's really one of the great add-on
right,
maps.
and then exit right.
It's so well done, and they're constantly editing it and updating it.
Exit right.
So there's always more
At the
stuff
roundabout,
being put
take
in.
the first exit. Exit now.
Alright, so yes, we know where we're going.
Go straight on. Get
But
ready.
we'll
to
be there
turn left.
before midnight, but then beyond that, who knows?
Turn left.
So yeah,
Go
it's good to
straight
see
on,
that they
and then
are
turn
still
left.
working. I know there's been complaints in the community about
Turn
the
left.
fact that there's a feeling that Euro Truck is kind of getting shafted a little bit, and that they're really focusing on American Truck Simulator. I don't know what the player base is for each, and that may be part of it. Because there is the reality. I could see a lot of folks in the U.S. Without much interest in doing Euro Truck. It is very different. It's much more, there's just because of, again, how much more settled as far in time frame as the population is. There's always the conversation where, in America, we're like, ooh, this building's old, and it's, maybe a couple hundred years old, if even that. I don't know that too many of our buildings last that long unless they were specifically preserved, honestly. And instead you go to Europe and you've got, Roman things that are standing that are, over 1,000 years old, and, probably really 2,000 years old, getting
Go
close to
straight
that.
on.
So, there's always that part, but there's just been
We are finished.
more time for settlement in Europe, without native folks and so forth, so cities and things we're used to. Okay, so again, that's what we're taking.
Let's go.
Okay, well, there it is. And as such, you're doing a lot more driving in between cities, basically. And so some people are like, I want the open road, I want whatever. Okay, why? Okay, my pedals are just odd. There we go. I'm like, I can't get the brake to go back, but now it finally did. I'm like, I shouldn't have to recalibrate. Every once in a while I have to recalibrate stuff for iRacing, which I
Time to get the job
had done because I was trying to avoid getting demoted down from where I was. Luckily, I've gotten myself there. There's this week 13 thing, so normally they divide the year into seasons that are 13 weeks, but there's really only 12 weeks of kind of full-blown
straight on.
racing series. And then the 13th week is when they're doing updates and getting ready for the next season, because they introduce tracks. They do various things. But you have to have a safety rating, or is it a safety? Yeah, I think it is a safety rating of 2.0 or higher out of a 4.0 scale to not get demoted, and so I was below that, and so I was in danger of going from an A license in Formula cars to a B license, which technically would be fine because the series I'm in just requires a D license. I'm just not that good in the Formula side of things. So, where I am racing in an A license series in NASCAR, but, not doing so. So it's not as if it would have changed what I'm competing in, but it's more just the thought of, I earned an A license, I want to keep it. So the 13th week, they just have a small subset of races, and so I was going in basically what's the rookie series, which also means you have a bunch of people who are brand new to iRacing who don't understand that it's not, an arcade racing game, and therefore kind of wreak havoc on the field. You just have more of that. So like the last race I did last night had, I think in a field of 17, it had 11 rookies.
Get ready.
And they're not
to turn
necessarily bad drivers just because of that, but there's more of a tendency. But believe me, there's a lot of A drivers I've seen in any series that are still kind of pretending it's, we always joke, like, go back to NASCAR Heat or something,
Go
which
straight
is a
on.
popular arcade racer from back in the day. But, so anyway, I
Turn
had to
right.
recalibrate my wheel there, because sometimes that does things, but that normally doesn't do anything to Truck Simulator. That's where I'm like, I don't understand, like, they're two separate configuration files, but whatever it was, we got through it. It worked. Oh, let me reset this, because yeah, we're going between 100 and
straight
200 kilometers, so we're not going very far.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
Sipo fruit, huh? Alright, so I guess we're going underneath,
Exit now.
just like he is. I wasn't sure. I assumed he would, because yeah, we're going to Elmira.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
I always try to pronounce things the way, I think they are pronounced, but so hopefully I'm getting close on
Exit
these.
now.
And Media, because with the accent over the I, that should be a little bit more. Okay, I can't even engage the cruise yet because I'm so slow. You have to get to 25 kilometers, so I could have done it on the road. But my foot is to the floor, so this industrial cable, pretty heavy for me. Alright, this guy's like, yeah, I can see the speed you're going at. My goodness. There we go. So maybe I need to be at 30, because it finally registered at 32. Alright, so now I can let go of the accelerator. 12 kilometers down the road. My trucky mods are telling me about 5 minutes to our destination. So, again, a very short run, but that's okay. Sometimes you take short jobs, or shorter jobs, and it's not all about big, long ones, because again, you're still getting paid per kilometer. And all of these were a little bit light, even by real economy standards. So we were at about negative 8,400 euros on our 7-day profit. So once again, I'm keeping a very close eye on that, because that has been the challenge in this series, is trying to stay profitable. And I was just getting there, and then we had an AI, I wouldn't call it a glitch, it was just AI doing its thing, and it barreled into us and caused significant damage that cost us, I think, 10 or 15,000 euros to repair. So that has hurt us. But obviously, once we get out of the 7-day window with that, then maybe things will quickly turn around. But right now, that hasn't happened. And again, the nature of this is, yeah, it takes months to get through a week in the game, because, we're going to drive whatever it is, a few hours here. And then, that'll be a week of time in the real world. So sometimes I'm torn, I suppose. People can give me feedback, but I used to, in the beginning, if I had like short runs like this, I would try to do 2 short runs, because I always felt like, I don't know, it was a skimpy episode, but I'm like, I don't know that it's better to do that and then intentionally take a short run versus just, no, eat the short run if I have to, and then just do another episode where hopefully I have a longer run. I mean, that does create the possibility that I will have 2 episodes with short runs, or 3 or 4, that you never know what you're going to find in each city, and that becomes the issue. As you saw, like, we actually had jobs that were taking us places that I was like, yeah, of my choices, I'm interested in going there. before I had to rest, but then when I had to rest, the ones that were available were less favorable to what I wanted to be doing. So, all right, we're at 80, 90. All right, so we're here, basically, very shortly. But man, I didn't think this thing was that heavy. I wasn't paying much attention, because usually when it's like there's one thing. Now again, I guess I should learn, like when there's one thing on an entire flatbed, it probably is pretty heavy. Otherwise, they give you multiples. But there is our final spot. But yeah, we've got a slight climb here. I wouldn't say it's significant, and I can't get beyond barely 70 kilometers an hour. So interesting, because this is like a really big roundabout. I thought we were on kind of on a interstate type thing, but obviously not. Alright, so got little strips to warn us to slow down. Went from 2 to 3, so see, it was a little longer of the warning rumble. We would call them rumble strips in the US, but I don't know if they have that same name in Europe.
And then exit right. Exit right.
But yeah, what I was getting at is, yeah, would you rather be like, no, I don't want really short 15, 20-minute episodes. You know, it needs to be longer than that.
Take the third
or
exit.
if once again it's like, hey, whatever is there, and that's okay. 'Cause that's kind of what I'm operating on.
Recomputing.
What do you mean? I'm exiting now.
Turn right.
This is so confusing. I can see where I need to go. I don't want to turn right. And yes, it's Asiona.
Keep left, and then turn left.
So, and this is, again, I'm sure this is a ProMods area, the map. And,
turn left.
because it just isn't a structure of roadway that you typically see SCS doing. I'm like in the middle. Okay, fine. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, that kind of stuff happens, but, you know, we were going at high speed, and then the AI, like, suddenly decided, no, I'm going to go where you're going. And we collided and caused a lot of damage.
Straight on.
Because it was basically a head-on collision, if I recall. It was a long time ago, but... okay. Alright, so we need to park there.
Get ready to turn right. Turn right.
Alright, again, this series we're not required to stay in the cab, so probably in this case I will not.
It's all over now.
Likely to be, I don't think, yeah, I can't really pull forward enough, so I'm just going to go here, and we're just going to kind of make a big 180 on our parking job here. Alright, so let's see. What's the best way to see this? What is with the rolling? I don't understand. And again, it's not like you can see my brake lights going on. I don't know if I need to recalibrate or what, but this is odd. Alright, alright. So I switched into what they have a real automatic now, which I don't think they did for the longest time. So I can use my pedal shifters, which actually is helpful because then I'm using the accelerator now, which is what you would be doing when you were in reverse. I guess let me see where I'm at here. Okay, but also, yes, it was odd. The clutch was set up as my accelerator, although the accelerator was working. because I was driving. Actually, I think the brake was set up as my accelerator, and then the clutch was my reverse. And then, yeah, it was just kind of botched up, so I don't know what happened. But clearly it was not a good result. Alright, we're probably going to have to, yeah, reposition here. Whoops. Although that didn't stop the way I wanted it to. Oh, I guess because it's neutral. It does go into neutral in between. Let me see how much room we have. Well, I guess the back is turning out more than I'd like. So let's straighten this out. Alright, the brake does work, it just, I didn't have it on right enough. Whoops. Now I'm hitting the brake. Oh, hold on. I gotta remember. I mean, the problem is now... Okay, what have I got here? Alright, it was working great. And now it's not. Weird. Maybe I was like stuck on a ridge or something and I just couldn't get enough traction, which is odd. Like that shouldn't really happen, but whatever. Alright, this should be fine here. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Too far. But we'll be okay. It'll give it to us. Okay. It's going to take me a while to get used to this. Alright. So we're going to pop out here. So we'll see. Maybe I'll keep it that way. Maybe I won't. Alright. So moving up a little bit, but again, normal, tiny little things. With everything, I mean, my recording is over 30 minutes. I don't know with editing and taking everything out, I'm sure I'll be below 30, but hopefully it won't be too bad. But the good news is profit is now negative 6.7 thousand, so definitely a move in the right direction, especially since we only got paid like 100. But the concern is maybe the big repair fell off because I didn't repair it in pieces, so that's the concerning part. Because if it did and we're still at negative 6, that doesn't bode well for things, because I really did think I had a profit going at one point that was 1,000 or 2,000 euros in 7 days. So we'll have to see how things go along as we proceed here. But as we always do, we're done now, and I will just remind you, the only thing I ask of folks is please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.